Hello, boys and girls. This is your old friend, the Dreamfinder, here to set off on another grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom.
The Disneyland Limited, now leaving for a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom. All passengers board.
Star Tours announces the boarding of the Endor Express. All passengers, please prepare for immediate boarding.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. To those guests who've just joined us, welcome. For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the door.
Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times. Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
I am Sam, the American Eagle, and I am proud to introduce the Grand Circle Tour podcast, a celebration of Disney parks, but mostly the American ones. I really like these guys.
Good afternoon, Grand Circle Tour passengers, and welcome to another episode. My name is Dan Hansen, and I will be your conductor today as we take you on a Grand Circle Tour all around things Disney. Tonight on the show, I have two of my favorite co-hosts. I have Jason, Jungle Skipper Jay. Jay, how you doing today?
Aloha, Dan. I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
Very good.
Awesome.
What's up, Jay?
What's up with me is, you guys are letting me do my vinyl reviews on the show now.
Woohoo!
I just ordered 2 new vinyl records from the Disney Music Emporium today.
All right. What are they?
Got the Pirates of the Caribbean Attraction Picture Disc and the Force Awakens 2-2 LP set that has holograms on the vinyl.
And I'm assuming that on some of our upcoming Detour episodes, we will be reviewing them.
Oh, it is coming.
Perfect. Sure, the passengers can't wait. I can't wait as well. Awesome. And we are also joined by Mr. Stan Solo. Stan, what's up?
Hey, Dan. Hey, passengers. Welcome to another exciting adventure of the Grand Circle Tour podcast. My waltz up today is I got some exciting news for people that have been following along with the story of Kevin. We got a post on our Grand Circle Tour Facebook page that Kevin has now moved on to his 6th family. We got a message from Hunter von Beckerman and his wife Jessica that they're in Disney World and they got Kevin. So I'd love to hear the story from them, exactly how they got Kevin and if they passed him on or if they took him home or her home or if they passed her on. And for those of you who don't know, Dan, why don't you explain who Kevin is?
Kevin is a female Mickey balloon. That makes any sense. If anyone has not heard the Stan's Trip Report episode on one of our Detour episodes, go take a listen to that. And Stan talks a little bit about this balloon that he, I guess, inherited somehow. There's a story behind it. And at the end of the trip, Stan gave the balloon away with the rules that the family must give it to someone else and so on and so forth. And I was amazed yesterday when I got the notification on my phone saying that with a picture from Hunter, who I don't think any of us have ever met. I'm not sure if he is a listener or he just found our Facebook page from the stories, which I believe that's the case. But
I'm thinking when I passed the balloon off, I gave them a Grand Circle Tour pin.
Right.
So I'm thinking whoever passed it on had that pin still and kind of said, oh, I know where the balloon came from.
Yeah.
The Grand Circle Tour. So he probably did a search on Facebook, I'm guessing.
Sure.
This has gone from the story of Kevin to the saga of Kevin. Hunter, if you're listening, I would love it if you would call in and tell us what happened to Kevin next.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to Hunter and try to see if he wants to come on the show. Because I'm dying to hear the story behind that and put it all together. But I think we found a little thing that we have to do, guys, is every time we go to Disney is buy a balloon and pass it on.
Well, Stan, you missed it. Right before you came on, we were talking that we need to all go to Disney with a Sharpie. We all need to buy a balloon. We need to name the balloon on the back in Sharpie. We need to put Grand Circle Tour Magic Ticket Holders Facebook, and then hashtag Waltz Up, hashtag Find Kevin. pass that balloon around and see how much info we can get back on it.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Kind of like
Maybe
those
attach
dollar
a
bills.
few pins to the string, to the bottom of the string.
Yeah, there you go.
And whoever gets it gets a pin as well to keep.
Yep.
Hey, the pin will keep it from flying away.
Well, it comes with little Mickey discs at the bottom to keep it from flying away.
Now, if the pin backing falls off and someone grabs it and stabs himself, are we liable?
Stan Solo is liable, not the Grand Circle Tour podcast.
Stan Solo LLC bears full responsibility.
Why would somebody stab themselves with a pin?
I said if the pin back falls off and they grab the string.
Disney has so many pins going around, and you don't see. Mind you, they got better lawyers than I do.
I know I'm worried about the liability. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's get on with today's topic. How about that? Instead of sitting around talking about a balloon.
It's Kevin.
Three grown men talking about a balloon.
And he has feelings.
She wants you to respect her life choices. Kevin wants you to respect her life choices.
So, passengers, on today's show, we are going to talk about one of my favorite things, and that's DVC, Disney Vacation Club. We're going to treat that. I think we're going to do a little bit of a series on this. We're going to start very basic with this episode. Call this one DVC 101. And we're going to answer some basic questions. Maybe on the next show or two, a couple shows down the road, I'll get into more advanced questions and more on resale and things like that. But I know, Jason, you are semi-interested in DVC, so I hope that you find this a little bit informative. And hopefully I'll be able to answer any of your basic questions.
Well, Dan, I have a lot of questions for you because I'm looking at it as someone who, my nephew's 2, and I'm kind of hoping in the next year I'll get a new niece or nephew.
No pressure to
no pressure on my sister if she's listening to hop on the good foot and do the baby thing. But so I'm looking at someone who I want to wait about 4 years, maybe 5, and I want to buy in because I'm looking at it as I want to take make sure the entire family gets to go as a family every other year.
Yeah.
And my spouse and I can go every year, and then we'll take the family every other year.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why most people buy in, right? Because I would say the number one thing, if you're thinking about buying into the DVC, is that you have to go, right? You have to make sure that Disney is the vacation destination of your choosing. And currently, I believe that Disney has about 11 resorts on Florida property. You also have the California resorts. You also have the Hilton Head Resort. You have one in Vero Beach, Florida. And then you also have the one in Hawaii. Those are what currently falls under the DVC umbrella.
Okay, now, every time I see a DVC commercial when I'm sitting in my room and I'm flipping through the channels, like they're showing people going all over the world with DVC. What is that all about?
So with DVC, you also have an option to go into MCI. Is everyone familiar with MCI? A very big time timeshare, I guess, company. And they are connected where you have to pay a slight fee to transfer your DVC points to timeshare points, let's say, and that you can do vacations like that to other places. That then turns into a timeshare. Typical timeshares are where you purchase a set time of the year, a week of the year. Usually that's what it is, and that's the week that you go. DVC is a little bit different because you don't actually have to choose your exact time. You actually get allotted an amount of points, and you purchase per point. And depending on how many points you have, you can go for that certain amount of days or different seasons. Points go up and down depending on the seasons, depending on the resort you stay at, depending on the time of year, things like that.
So, Dan, real quick question for you. In my research, it looks like the minimum amount of points I need is 75.
That is correct. So that's what Disney is currently requiring for the minimum. It used to be 50. However, DVC is something that Disney is selling, and they want to make money. So they recently raised that a couple years back to 75 points.
And when you say selling, it also says that you're actually getting a deed to the property.
You do. So it just like a timeshare, you're getting property. You know, part of the allure of having DVC is that you own part of Disney. You own part of that resort. So by owning Disney, you know, you feel like you're part of the Disney ownership, and you know, that's part of like the fun of having it.
Now, let me ask you, based on the fun of ownership, does that include maintenance fees?
So the upfront cost does not include maintenance fees. So this is something that I think everyone needs to know about while you're doing your research. You are required to have maintenance fees yearly. They are due in January, so I just sent Disney a nice check. And sometimes people look at it and says, hey, I'm paying all this money up front. It doesn't make sense. Why am I paying all this money for dues as well? And that is true. And you have to know that going into it, that you're going to have to pay yearly dues, whether you use them or whether you don't use them.
And when you say paying in, how much is it to buy in?
So right now, I believe that Disney is selling, I believe they are selling Copper Creek, and I'm not sure if they're selling the Riviera right now, but right now, the prices, and I could be wrong a little bit here, but I believe they're approximately $150 per point right now. Is that what you have in your research, Jay? I don't know if you saw that.
I had it as 123, but my information might be a little older.
Yep, I think it's up to about 150 right now. So if you think about it, if you have to buy, and you can pull out your calculators, passengers, right now, your minimum purchase right now, if you purchase through Disney, is 150 times 75, which would be is the minimum value. Now, most people, to be honest, buy more than that. I would say that if you were going to plan on having a week in Disney, I think 150 is the amount of points that you should have to feel comfortable that you're going to have enough time each year.
How much will 75 points get me?
All right, so that's a good question. And the answer varies. I can't give you an exact answer, but what I can do is I can give you some examples. So what it does is it goes by resort, it goes by season, it goes by day of the week, things like that. You know, so
room size, I'm sure, has a big part of it.
Room size, exactly.
Location.
Say that again.
Locate like Savannah View, exactly. Park View, yeah.
So just like if you were buying just getting a hotel on property on a regular vacation, you would pay more money for, say, the Polynesian. You'd pay more money for, say, the Contemporary because it's closer to Magic Kingdom. You would pay more money if you were staying in the Contemporary with a Magic Kingdom view as opposed to a what they call garden view. You would pay more money if you were on a Saturday night compared to a Tuesday night. So Disney has a whole point structure laid out. And I'll just give you some examples. If you look at Bay Lake Tower, which is the Contemporary, they have it broken down between, I think it's 5 seasons. They have Adventure Season, Choice Season, Dream Season. They put all these like fancy words there, but really it means,
I was going to say Adventure Season. Sign me up for Adventure Season.
Right. It states there, Venti Grande.
Adventure Season is during the hurricane.
Yeah, right. So I'll just give you some examples. If you were to just do a studio, which sleeps about up to 4, if you do Adventure Season with a standard view on a Sunday through Thursday night, you're looking at 14 points a night. Okay, that's the cheapest. The most expensive for a studio would be their Premier Season, which is, say, Christmas and I believe Easter week, those 2 weeks. And if you were to stay on a Sunday through Thursday night in the best view, that would be 33 points a night. So you're looking at a range from that same hotel for 14 to 33 points, depending on the view and the time of the year you stay and the day of the week. Now that's just Bay Lake Tower.
Can I pop quiz you real quick?
Sure.
Just ballpark. 1 family, 6 adults, 2 children. For my family, so we want to stay at Port Orleans in October, like a Monday through a Saturday.
Yep.
How many points am I going to need?
So the answer to that is you will not be able to go there because Port Orleans is not a DVC resort.
Good to know.
Trick question.
Trick question.
Did not fall for it.
So one of the other things I would say about DVCJ, and we'll get back to your question in a second, is that one of the things that people are drawn to is that it's a lot of deluxe accommodations. So if you're one of these vacationers that like more deluxe, lavish vacations, DVC is a good option. You're going to get bigger rooms, you're going to get nicer rooms, and you're probably going to get in the areas that are closest to the parks. I think that the only two DVC hotels that they have that isn't within like earshot of a park is Saratoga and one of the other ones. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Everyone else is things like Grand Floridian. Oh, Old Key West. That's right, Old Key West. You're looking at the Polynesian. You're looking at the Contemporary, Beach Club, Boardwalk, Animal Kingdom, all of those hotels.
The Treehouse Villas, is that at Saratoga or where are they?
It is at Saratoga. So the Treehouse Villas are DVC only portion of Saratoga, and it's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, they look amazing.
Yeah, they're really cool, and they're big. Like those are probably the biggest. I guess you could call them rooms that you could get. I think they sleep up to like 12 or something like that.
Oh yeah, wow.
Up in a tree, you got to climb up a stairway to get there. Pretty cool.
Yeah, you have your own little barbecue on the deck, and
yeah.
Do you have your own kitchen for every DVC room?
So if you get a studio, you do not. You get a little kitchen for a studio. You get a kitchenette, which gets you like a microwave, little area like a sink. Very very small, but refrigerator obviously. But if you get a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom or one of like the grand suites, those all come with full kitchens. So just today I was looking at a 2-bedroom. In a couple of years, I'm planning on taking some of our friends. So there's gonna be 2 families. We're trying to see if it's better to do 2 studios or a 2-bedroom. The 2 bedrooms in Bay Lake, at least, actually have 3 bathrooms, which is really nice. I think it's Bay Lake and one of the other ones have 3 bathrooms. All other 2 bedrooms have 2 bathrooms. But it comes with a living room, a full kitchen, little dining area, and then a master suite, which has a king bed, and then another bedroom, which has 2 queens. And in the living room, you also have a pull-out couch.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out now. Like I've looked into DVC, and for myself, it probably isn't worth it because I'm not a deluxe resort stayer.
Right.
And most of my trips are I'm going solo or I'm going with one family member, and staying at a value or a moderate is perfectly fine for us. Where does the value come from with DVC? Because it is expensive. Like you're paying your money up front, which is on average what, $20,000?
Yep, that is about average.
Right around there.
That's pretty low, actually, right?
Yeah, and then your annual fee is around $200, $300. What are we at?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I did a little analysis in preparation for this show, and I'm going to show you where the savings would be. And this savings is not for everyone. Stan, if you're someone that doesn't mind going to the values, DVC is not the way to go then. You're probably not going to be able to make up the money. However, if you're going to take, let's just take one resort. And what I chose Disney Animal Kingdom Villas during Dream season, which is kind of the middle of the pack, in a Savannah View regular studio. Okay, so that's a nice room overlooking the animals, but a small room because it's only 4 people. If you were to have purchased it when that was available, they were selling it for, it came out to be $21,670. That's the upfront cost. So in 2012, that's what you would have paid. If you would have went to that same room every year, you would have ended up paying after that first payment you would only pay the dues. Those dues would have been $896 in year 2, $923, $951, $979. As you can see, the dues also go up. If you add that all up, by the time you got to 2019, as total, you would have paid $28,539. Okay. Now, if you use that same room and you just paid what we call rack rates, and actually what I did was you could usually get discounts on hotel rooms. So to be fair, what I did is I took the rack rate and I took 25% off. Figured that's a good discount that you would have gotten. And I did that every single year going forward, going through those years. Starting at 2012, you would have paid $3,456. The next year, you would have paid $3,559, so on and so forth. When you get to the year 2019, which is about 7 years later, you're paying $30,731. That's higher than the $28,000. Every year thereafter, obviously, it leans more and more in DVC's favor. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's it. I've never heard that math before. That makes total sense.
Right.
You explained it perfectly.
So you're buying it at a set price. How many years are you paying for it?
All right. So each hotel has an end year. Okay. I believe the new resorts, I think they give you like 40 or 50 years. I'm not exactly sure exactly what the number is.
Really quick, when you say end year, what do you mean end year?
When you're purchasing it, you're only purchasing it for that amount of years. Once that year comes up, your purchase is over with and you can't go any longer. Okay. My purchase, I have it with Saratoga Springs. My end year is 2042. 2043, I will not be able to go any longer.
Okay, that makes sense. Because you hear about people inheriting their parents' DVC contract.
That was my next question, was that said something happened to you, I would go to Connor?
Correct.
Yep. Well, probably his wife first.
Yeah.
Unless they get killed together.
Let's say that.
As I say that all cheery.
Now, when you asked the question, would it go to Connor? Was that a question? Like,
was that a question as far as like, so is this something you can put in your will and
Yes.
deed to another person?
Yes, exactly. It's property. It's property that you own that I pay taxes for. And when I see my accountant every year at tax time, I have to tell him that I own this as well.
So you're looking at a set price every year. And do you look at that and go, well, based off what they're currently charging for this stay in this hotel, is that how you look at it? And
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, everything's going to go up in Disney. We all know that, right? So what you have to understand that, when you pay this upfront price, the allure to it is that you're paying that price and that's it. Yes, your dues are going to go up every year, but your $800,000, $900,000 in dues is probably cheaper than what you would pay for a regular week in Disney of like $3,000 or something like that.
so let me ask you, as someone because currently I'm perfectly happy staying off property because I save quite a bit of money.
Sure.
Even factoring in the Uber rides and all that. As someone who wants to take a yearly Disney vacation, this is a more affordable way of taking the family as opposed to staying off property?
No, it is definitely not more affordable. If you are going to stay off property and you're okay with that, this is not something you should look into. I'll be honest with you. You will save a lot of money by staying off property.
Because I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, I buy this and then we have to go every year.
Right. Which, I'll be honest with you, is one of the reasons I bought it. I like to go to Disney. I know maybe my wife doesn't, but now we're forced to go every year.
No, if you don't go, you're booked and you can go like a week a year with your plan, and you skip a year, you're allowed to go 2 weeks the following year?
You are. So I'll kind of explain that a little bit. So you get an allotment each year of whatever amount of points that you purchased. I have 160 points. Okay. So what you can do is you can bank your points for 1 year. You can also borrow points from 1 year ahead in the future. So theoretically, if I didn't go this year or next year, and I had last year's money, last year's points, I could theoretically use last year's, this year's, and borrow from next year's and have all those points for one giant vacation that I could take all my friends on, or multiple trips in 1 year.
Okay.
You could do multiple trips.
Yes, you can. You can go as often as you want, as long as you have the points.
Because
go ahead.
Sorry, because we're timeshare members, and so we're used to having that locked in. We have to go during a set time.
Yeah. Well, that's actually an advantage for DVC too, because one of the frustrations about being DVC is that it is very popular. So much so that it's harder to book last minute trips because they're already booked. So what happens is when you purchase DVC, you get what's called a home resort. And I was talking a little bit right now that they're currently selling for Copper Creek, which is Fort Wilderness, and also I believe they're selling the Riviera now. If they're not, they will be very soon. When I say selling for those resorts, those will be their home resorts. And the advantage you have at having something as your home resort is you get to book 11 months out. If you'd like to book another hotel that's not your home resort, you book at the 7-month period. So basically what Disney's doing is it's giving a couple months to those people that own at that resort. It's kind of giving them a couple months head start. However, if you're not a planner and you don't book at 7 months out or 11 months out, it's going to be very difficult to get to the resort that you want the longer you wait. I think one of the things that, I'm a guy who likes Saratoga. And the reason I like Saratoga so much is that I love Disney Springs. Disney Springs is like, I can sit in Disney Springs all day long. And to be honest with you, I can go for a trip and not even go to a park and just hang out in Disney Springs and I'll be happy. And the Springs has a nice walkway right over the little creek and you can walk right back to your hotel right from the Springs. So that's why I like that. What's great about Saratoga is that it's enormous. It's so big that usually what happens is that that's the resort that's like the leftover. I don't have a problem with that because that's my resort. I like it. That's what I'm used to. It's not bad. It's just not right next to the Magic Kingdom, which some people love. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. So do you want to talk a little bit about the perks?
Sure.
That you get with DVC, like some of the discounts and freebies.
Some of the parties they have just for you.
So
sorry, Stan.
Those are all, the perks are so like, people don't think about that when they're purchasing because you don't really think about like all that stuff. All you think about is, holy cow, I got paid $20,000. Like, this is crazy.
That's what I think about.
I paid $20,000 and all I got was this lousy fridge magnet.
Yeah, exactly, right? Car magnet, right? We got new magnets this year. That was a big thing. We got new magnets this year. Yeah, you'll probably be seeing them as you drive around. But so a couple things. First of all, you get discounts on all merchandise. You get 10 to 15% depending on where you are, and that's a big deal. If you're someone like me who has kids and you buy a lot of merchandise, it adds up very, very quickly. I know, Stan, we have talked about some of our art purchases, and as we know, they can be very expensive. You have 10, 15% off of that. You can get, sorry, guys.
It's Shirley in DVC accounting.
I got mad at my wife because we have Peapod, the grocery service. And she schedules it for right now. And I'm like, I'm going to be recording. The doorbell's going to ring. All right. Sorry, John. You're going to have to edit that part.
I might leave it in for fun.
Oh, leave it in. Shirley from DVC telling us all the mistakes we're saying.
All right. What were we talking about? What's the question? I don't even know what the question was.
The perks.
Perks. Okay.
Yeah. So you buy a lot of art.
All right. So, yeah. So if you are purchasing a big purchase, couple $100, that 10, 15% goes a long way. You also get discounts on dining as well.
Yeah.
And let me ask quick, Stan, what is your discount as an annual pass holder?
Well, it varies. I believe is it 10% for meals? Like I went to Maria and Enzo's for lunch, and it was a 40% discount with my annual pass for lunch, which is a like that no other restaurant's 40% off. But so, yeah, and then you get 10%. I think you get 10% off merchandise. I just give them my card and they give me my discount.
Yeah, it's very similar, and I'll tell you real quick is that I think it's exactly the same, to be honest with you. But
yeah,
what you do get is you actually get a big discount. I don't know the exact number off annual passes in DVC.
That's what I was going to ask, if you get a discount on annual passes, because yeah, I didn't get a discount buying my annual pass.
And how much was your annual pass? A lot of money, right?
Yeah, it was close to 1,000. I think it was 900 or something like that. Yeah.
So if you get say 10, 15, I think it may even be up to 20 at this point. That's
yeah. And then you get discounts at all the parties.
You get all the parties. You get extra parties. We get
extra
parties sent to us yearly, and you get those parties.
The DVC parties are free as well, or are included.
All free, and all included.
And if you watch the Tim Tracker videos, when they go to the parties, the DVC parties are empty and full of free snacks.
It's unbelievable.
They're amazing. But the best parties I've ever been to are the DVC parties. I have some friends that I went with.
Yeah.
And the DVC parties, bar none, are better than any other party.
So I'll tell you one complaint, though, about the DVC parties is now that's a draw, right? Over the last couple of years, people have realized that that's a great time to go. Well, what do you think happens? I already told you guys how hard it is to book already, DVC. Those weeks turn into like impossible weeks to book. And it's very frustrating if that was the week that you were planning on going anyway. And you're like, what the heck? How is this not available? And then you say, oh, there's a party that week.
There's a party that week.
That's something that's very frustrating. The other thing that, might not seem like a big deal, but, they recently added all these parking prices. However, DVC do not have to pay for parking. So we never have to pay for parking. So if
anywhere on property?
Yep, anywhere on property.
Really quick, I wanted to ask you, you're talking about discounts on annual passes. I assume you get discounts on regular admission tickets?
You do not.
Oh.
Nope. That's one thing I wish that they did.
Disney Cruise Line.
So the Disney Cruise Line, it's so funny that you say Disney Cruise Line, because in my opinion, and I've done the math on this, it's really not worth using your DVC points because it doesn't translate like the dollars translate to a room.
No, I meant, is there a discount to pay?
I'm not sure about that. I don't think there is.
Okay.
But you can use your points to go on Disney Cruise
on the cruise.
But they charge a lot of points.
Because when I have been on the cruises, they do have the DVC desk on the cruise ships. And if you're a DVC member, you visit the DVC desk every day during the cruise, and they give you a little gift.
Yeah.
It's nothing, impressive or huge, but it's a nice little memento. Every single day where you're on the ship, you go and visit the desk, and they give you a different gift.
Sure.
Yes, but is it a Han Solo and carbonite keychain?
Yeah, it's not that good.
So I wrote down 6 things here I want to share with our passengers, and I feel that if you say yes to these 6 things, then you're an ideal candidate. And I want to say that if you say no to any of these, doesn't mean that DVC is not for you either. But I want to be honest, and I want to tell everyone that it is a huge investment, and you should not take this lightly. And if anyone like myself that already has DVC just says, oh, do it, it's great. Okay, you can listen to them, but you have to do the math yourself because you really have to see if it fits for you.
Can Jason and I answer these questions as you read them out?
You can.
But really quickly, you said it's an investment. It's the same price as buying a new car, $20,000.
Correct, it is.
But you're spacing it out over 23 years.
Well, yeah, exactly. If you look at it that way, then that's it. That's how I looked at it. But
and it doesn't deteriorate as soon as you get off the lot.
Exactly.
like a new car was.
If anything, it's going to jack up in price, right?
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that as one of my 6 things. So
Stan, you want us to answer the questions?
Yeah, let's answer them.
Should we do it in unison?
Okay.
All right. So number 1, again, it doesn't have to be, and I know that this one's going to sound like a little maybe hoity-toity on my end, but if you do not have cash in hand to pay it all in one shot, you have to finance. And if you finance, you're adding a lot more money onto it. So the first thing I would say is that that it's a better investment if you have the cash in hand.
Nope.
Yes.
Not a chance in.
and I get that. So.
And yes, I can do it.
The other day.
Yes, I can do it. Oh, sorry.
Those calculations that I gave you before did not include interest, or for what you're basically doing is you're taking out a mortgage,
And I already have one. So yes, I can do it, but I still need more convincing.
Okay. Number 2, you have to understand that dues are going to happen, and you have to make sure that they're not going to present a financial hardship in your life yearly. One of the things I love about Saratoga is that it has the cheapest dues. Out of every hotel has different dues, but Saratoga is the more reasonable one. Okay.
What's the most expensive? Sorry.
Copper Creek, probably.
Yeah, probably. The dues are for building maintenance and like lawn maintenance. So if you think about that, the things like the Polynesian where they really like theme it up, those have very high expensive dues.
So it sounds like a mortgage and an HOA fee.
Yeah, exactly. That's what some people look at it as. Okay.
So will the dues break me? I would have to say with that loan that I'm getting, might.
Well, if you look at it this way,
if it's just the dues, no.
If you were able to pay it off in the beginning or shortly thereafter, if you have dues of say $1,000, and that's if you have 160 points. So if you're going to take less points, the dues will be cheaper because you pay dues by the point. That's going to be a lot cheaper than the couple thousand that you may pay to be in a deluxe resort.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Number 3 is you have to go to Disney, right? That has to be your vacation. This probably should be my number 1, but you have to make a Disney vacation at least once every other year.
So I know that they have them in California, DVC resorts, and you could book them not as quickly as people that have their home. How about like Paris or Tokyo or Shanghai or Hong Kong?
No, it doesn't transfer
over. As of now, there is no DVC resorts. Okay.
There's no DVC. Now, there's been a lot of talk in the past about overseas, and actually more hotels, here in the States, just different areas of building Disney resorts. Hilton Head, I haven't been there yet, but I'm dying to go there just because
I heard it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I heard it's absolutely gorgeous.
But you say Paris and Tokyo and all these cities I want to visit. If my points can transfer over there, I'm going to factor that into the cost of an international vacation. I'm going to make it happen.
I think, my personal opinion, and I have no knowledge about this, but I think it will eventually happen.
I think as well.
I think DVC is too popular. The thing, though, that's going against it is that it's too popular, right? They're already selling it with what they have. There's really no incentive at this point to add something like Paris or Tokyo because it's already selling out as it is,
Because to say, when you go to Paris, you stay in Paris and take the train to Disney. If I could take my DVC to Paris, I would just stay at Disney and train over to Paris.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yearly trip to Disney. I'd say at least every other year for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm paying for it, I want to go to Disney every year.
You don't,
or Alani. Alani would be amazing to go to as well.
Or Vero Beach is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say, like I said before, you don't have to say yes for each of these. The other thing that you can do, if your answer to no is no on this one, is there is a resale market, and you can sell your points, and it's pretty easy to do that. And we could get that probably on a later show when we get more advanced questions. But you can sell your points to at least pay for those yearly dues. Okay. The next one I'll say is you have to plan on owning the DVC for at least long enough that you're going to hit your break-even point. And Stan, we mentioned this a little bit beforehand. I'll explain what I mean by this. Although it's an investment, I think what some people try to do is they use DVC just like as a quick get-rich-quick type scheme. Well, they'll purchase it. They'll know the value keeps going up and up and up, and then they sell it a couple years later. To me, you're not really getting your bang for your buck on that kind of investment. But there's a lot of people out there that do that.
Yeah, that's the attitude you take with real estate, not vacation.
Exactly. If you're gonna spend $20,000 on something, spend a couple $100,000 and buy a home.
Yeah, well, I'm not getting any younger, so that one's probably a no for me as well.
Next one is you prefer deluxe accommodations. Like I said before, the rooms are nicer. You are paying for usually the nicer hotels, Saratoga being the one that's not the same, I would say. The rooms, even the studios, they're a little bit bigger than just a regular studio if you're paying a rack rate. So I would say that if you prefer to stay deluxe accommodations, this is a good choice for you.
Well, I think everyone prefers to stay at deluxe accommodations. There's nobody. I prefer to, just put a cot out in the parking lot.
How about if you normally do deluxe going on?
Yeah. It's something that really excites you.
Right.
I'm going to say yes because that is how I travel. Last time I went to Disney, it was I could stay at the All-Star Sports or I could stay in a suite off property with my own kitchen and my own jacuzzi.
Right.
I obviously opted not to stay at the Sports.
Right. I gotcha.
When I go out of town, I kind of want a bit of pampering. I'm on vacation.
Oh yeah, so do I. I mean,
I want convenience, and I don't want to have to do any work for anything.
Right, I hear you. I mean, that's kind of why one of the main reasons I purchased DVC. So, and the last but not least, if you are a last-minute planner, this is probably not a good purchase for you because of everything that I said before. If you like to purchase your trips or plan your trips 11 months out for your home resort or 7 months out for your non-home resort, you have to be that type of planner and to get the full advantage of having the choice of where you really want to go. The longer you wait, the harder it is, and that is very frustrating to Disney Vacation Club members. I know that there's one of the biggest pet peeves is when you want to go last minute trip and you just can't because there's no availability, yet you just spent all this money for it. That's very frustrating. And again, we could get into this on another show when we go more advanced. But the reason behind that is Disney definitely oversells it.
See, here you've got me to know because I'm one of those people that if I want to go, I think I'll go next month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that being said, you're already planning your trip for, what'd you say, October?
October.
So, now would be the time.
September, sorry. September, October, somewhere.
He's really planning hard.
He's a great planner, Pastor.
I really am.
But now would be the time where you can go ahead and book that. Get it on. Make sure you get where you want to.
Because I'm a 90-minute plane ride from Florida now, so there's times where it's I could be there in a few hours and stay for a couple of days, but if I have DVC, that's not going to work out for me.
Now, like I said, you probably will be able to get Saratoga, probably, unless you go like Christmas week or something like that. I booked, as you guys know, in August. I did like kind of a last-minute trip. I think it was like about a month or so in advance, where I just went for a long weekend with my dad and my son, and I got Saratoga, no problem. But I knew that because I waited that long, I wasn't staying at the Contemporary or the Poly or Grand Floridian or anything like that.
Yeah, surprisingly, this would be a big yes for me because I already know what I'm doing 2020 and pretty much what month and everything, and I got 2019 all planned out already. So yeah, that's my one big yes is the planning ahead,
right?
Which I'm not known as a planner, but when I'm going, I plan it.
This is why Stan and I work so well together because we're opposites.
That's why the podcast works so well. We all have different views on different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, I think that's the basics. I'd like to do a little bit of a series with these. We could get into more advanced questions. There's a whole resale market out there, passengers. So if you are making the decision to purchase this before we get into those episodes, please do yourself a favor and look at the resale market. Jason.
Dan, I'll ask you one more question before we wrap this up.
Yep.
Just satisfy my curiosity.
Yes.
A week at the Bora Bora Bungalows at the Polynesian. How many points am I looking at?
Hold on. I got that right in front of me.
Jason doesn't have the internet at home, so he has to get that to check while we're online.
All right, here we go.
While we're chatting.
Bungalows. Let's see. We have.
And after that, check the tree houses for me.
All right. So what time of the year, Jay? When do you want to go to these bungalows?
Adventure.
I really like September, October for Disney World.
All right. So
I can brave the heat for less crowds.
All right. So the cheapest actually is September 1st through September 30th. That's actually the cheapest season. So you want to do that?
Yes.
And when would you like to go? Would you like to go for a week?
I'd like to go for a whole week. I would like to stay at the Bora Bora Bungalows for an entire week.
All right. That will only cost you 841 DVC points. So good luck.
75 ain't going to cut it.
I'm trying to do the calculations in my head. I think the little car in my head just crashed.
Now, you just want to stay for one night?
Yeah.
One night, say random Wednesday, let's say, it'll cost you 115. That's the cheapest you're going to get.
So if I'm looking at buying 150 points for the year, I'm basically staying one night and then rolling 35 points over to the next year.
Exactly. Now Stan, you asked about the Treehouse Villas, and you're going to be very surprised with these numbers. If you did the same time, let's say mid-September, and you can stay a random Wednesday, remember, this sleeps 9. A 3-bedroom treehouse villa sleeps 9 people. You're going to pay 39 points a night.
All right, Dan, book it for us.
You're
already on there. Just click buy. And we'll invite Caroline and Mindy and George.
All right, I'm going to make you guys a promise right here, right? I'm just thinking about this right now. If next week's our year anniversary, right, passengers? If you haven't known that, we're going to have a special show next week for our year anniversary.
So Dan's going to do a giveaway.
If we can make it.
Dan's giving away a week at...
If we can make it, what do you say, 5 years? Is that too long? Let's go with 5 years. 5 years. I will take the 8 of us, and since it sleeps 9, we'll even throw a lucky listener out there for a week in one of the Treehouse Villas. How's that sound?
There we go.
We'll have to make it a Kevin the Balloon contest.
Yeah, right. So
in 5 years, it's only 4 more years away.
The last thing I'll say to you guys, just to make sure everyone knows that I'm not holding anything back. I actually purchased resale. We'll get into that in the next episode. I did not purchase through Disney. There's a large cost savings. However, if you know anything about the resale market, there's a lot of changes that Disney made that made a lot of people unhappy. Thankfully, I'm grandfathered into the old way, so everything's good with me. But there's a lot more questions purchasing resale now.
Ooh, I look forward to the next one of the series.
And in full disclosure, my back then, I only paid $82 a point for my Saratoga contract, and it came out to about $12,000. And I did pay in full. I'll be honest with you guys. I paid in full. So to me, the payment's gone, and now it's just kind of like free vacations. That's why it works for me.
And one other thing for our passengers is in 3 years and 50 weeks, we'll need a replacement for Dan. Because the 8 of us won't be together because Dan will be gone.
So hopefully I helped you guys out there. And
Dan, this is a great new series you're starting. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes and what we can learn from you.
Awesome. I love talking DVC. So, all right, that'll do it for today's show. I see the train is rapidly approaching back into the Main Street station. Hope everyone has a great week. Ken, why don't you take us on home? Good night, everyone.
As we near our 1-year anniversary, we have decided to have another amazing giveaway. This time we're giving away a Kevin John Jungle Cruise print generously donated by Kevin John Studios. This print will be hand-signed by the Disney Master Artist himself and include a hand-drawn drawing on the mat. To enter, simply visit our Grand Circle Tour Facebook page and like and share this adventure. You can receive another entry by tweeting out that you're listening. Be sure to use the hashtag GCTPodcast.